the book, going by the name, Paying the Price, talks about how those who are the most marginalized, living at the periphery of the society, of Pakistani society, are having to pay the price of the laws and policies which were made, generations ago, in which they never had any say because they never had the voice, they never had the political or social clout. The first part of the book highlights the menace of religious extremism in Pakistan, which poses an existential threat to each one of us. The second chapter of the book deals with women rights movement in Pakistan, which particularly in recent years has become very controversial following Aurat March and the Mera Jisme Marzi slogan. Chapter 3 is titled Jagi Jagi Murat Jagi, and fourth chapter deals with the, I think, all-pervading issue of class apartheid in Pakistan and class inequality in Pakistan.
Audience greeting. This is Misbah Azam once again with New Wave Global. Today I have my very distinguished guest. He's a young man. He's a lawyer. He's a human rights activist. He's a women rights activist. And on top of all these things, he's an author. His new book is about to be coming in the market. And he will tell us, my first question would be to him about his book. He will tell us what is his book, when it is coming out. We will all be waiting to read that book. And then I would go to my next question. With me is Mr. Muneeb Qadir. Muneeb Qadir is a known human rights activist. We see him on a different forums on the Pakistani media. And today he is very generous that he gave us extra time, although we never had this appointment with him, but he kindly allowed us to make another 15-minute show with him. Muneeb, first of all, welcome to New Wave Global. This is
My
your
pleasure.
first time you join us. New Wave Global is a Naya Daur English channel. So it just started very recently, and we do short shows on that. Muneeb, first of all, please tell us about your book, when it is coming, and just give us the brief introduction, what you are going to educate about in that book.
Right. So first of all, thank you for inviting me and for giving me the opportunity to speak about my book, which I call My Labor of Love.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure.
It's already out, and I've shared that link on my social media bio, so people can go find it there in an ebook version. But the paperback version is going to be releasing in this coming week now. So between, you could say, 5th to 15th April, just watch out. And you can get the paperback edition delivered at your doorsteps. Both those who live outside Pakistan and particularly those who live in Pakistan. Now, the book, going by the name, Paying the Price, talks about how those who are the most marginalized, living at the periphery of the society, of Pakistani society, are having to pay the price of the laws and policies which were made, generations ago, in which they never had any say because they never had the voice, they never had the political or social clout to have a say in matters which affected them adversely and affected them the most. So the book is divided into 4 parts. The first part of the book highlights the menace of religious extremism in Pakistan, which poses an existential threat to each one of us, those who are in the religious majority as well as those who are in the religious minority. And so very aptly, I've titled the first chapter of the book, The B Word. So that's the name of the first chapter, the B word. Now, what exactly is the B word? You can make an intelligent guess. The second chapter of the book deals with women rights movement in Pakistan, which particularly in recent years has become very controversial following Aurat March and the Mera Jisme Marzi slogan. So chapter 2 of my book is named Mera Jism Meri Marzi. The third chapter deals with the transgender rights movement in the country, about which not much has been written, at least not much by people who actually live in Pakistan and who are seeing the politics going on around this topic, particularly at the hands of fashion designers and lifestyle liberals and whatnot. So chapter 3 is titled Jagi Jagi Murat Jagi, and fourth chapter deals with the, I think, all-pervading issue of class apartheid in Pakistan and class inequality in Pakistan, and particularly how vulnerable child workers, and specifically in urban Pakistan, child domestic workers who are beaten and tortured to death in a lot of cases have to pay the price only for not being born in the right family, only for being born in a poor family, only for being poor. So, my book deals with these four interrelated issues. There's a lot of intersectionality between them, and I just cannot wait for
Mhm.
your audience and for my audience and for people at large to read this book.
Great. So thank you very much. But that brings me to my next question to you, Muneeb.
Yes.
You're a lawyer and you understand Pakistani law very well. And your father is a very distinguished lawyer, and we all know him, and that he is in this field for a long time. Please educate us, please, and my viewers, that on a 9th May, the incident happened in which the state was attacked by the group of people who belong to a certain party, the PTI. Now, 51 of those people are convicted by the courts. Please explain us what you see going to happen. Are they going to do appeal and get released, or they have to stay in jail for 5 years, and how this thing's gonna work in coming days? And more people whose cases are in the military court, what will happen to that?
Pakistani legal landscape is just as uncertain and precarious as the Pakistani political landscape. In fact, they both go hand in hand. But what I can say for sure is that this has come a bit too late in the day. That an anti-terrorism court in Gujranwala under Justice Natasha Sipra. So, under her jurisdiction, has awarded sentences ranging from 10,000 rupees fines all the way to 5 years in prison. And there are more than 50 people, around 51 people, who have been convicted and found guilty. Now, what is likely to happen, at least with these 51 people? Are they going to appeal? Are they going to claim that the trials were unfairly dealt with, that due process was not followed? Again, which is a fundamental constitutional right under Article 10A of our constitution. That remains to be seen, but I think that it's pretty predictable that there is going to be an appeal and there are appellate routes available, so why not? But at the same time, as far as military court trials go, I think that they are very contentious. Human rights organizations have raised a lot of eyebrows, have raised a lot of alarm, and not just within Pakistan, but also I'm talking about Amnesty International or even UN agencies or Human Rights Watch, you name it. But within the Pakistani legal community and Pakistani activists circles, there has been a lot of concern about military court trials because they have claimed that the conviction rate in military court trials is around 98%.
Mm,
And there is hardly any judicial training for those who sit on these military trials in a judicial role. And given these factors, the likelihood that 9th May participants and even those who perhaps were not even involved in 9th May incidents, but they were just picked up randomly. And
mm,
it's that lack of transparency which has caused a lot of concern. So, there is an alarm that perhaps they might never get a fair trial because of the factors which I've just enumerated, which I've just mentioned. But
mm,
we also have to look at Pakistan's law and the legal framework. And the legal framework, I do believe, has enough flexibility that it leaves a lot of discretion to the military of Pakistan, the all powerful military of Pakistan, as it is globally known. If you look at the Pakistan Army Act, it does list the kinds of people who are amenable to the jurisdiction of military courts. And among those are, of course, members of the armed forces, but civilians could also contentiously, many lawyers might disagree with me here, and it's all about interpretation. But if I look at it from certain interpretations, yes, even over civilians, the military courts have jurisdiction, particularly where army installations have been attacked. And now it's no secret that, from the Corps Commander's house all the way to GHQ army installations, they were all
yeah.
attacked by protesters in 9th May. A lot of PTI members claimed that that was a false flag operation and PTI people had zero involvement in it.
Mm,
But also, if you were to look at Article 8(3) of the Constitution of Pakistan, it says that fundamental freedoms could be held in abeyance if it is about imposing law and order. If it's about upholding law and order, then the security forces can put in abeyance even your fundamental freedoms, which are contained in
Mm.
Chapter 1 of the Constitution. So, what I'm saying is that there's a lot of leeway even for the military and for the military courts to manipulate and to maneuver in their favor in order to exercise jurisdiction over these
Mm.
civilians. Now, that is the legal framework. Coming over the factual aspects of the same, when PTI says that this was a false flag operation and none of their members or none of their supporters were involved in attacks on state institutions or army installations, I wonder why, there are those posters posted from PTI related Twitter X accounts where they've got the likes of, I think her name is Sanam Javed or Hassan Khan
Sanam
Niazi
Javed, yes.
or Ibad Farouk, and they say that release these people when they are caught on camera, they are captured on camera. I mean,
Mm.
Hassan Khan Niazi, forgetting, I mean, keeping aside the fact that he is the son of PMLN allied Hafizullah Niazi, and he's also the much loved nephew of PTI founder Imran Khan. Hassan Khan Niazi, as a PTI member, which there is, I mean, when he joined PTI officially, it's been signed by Imran Khan, the document which he proudly posted on Twitter. He is a member of PTI. So, as a member of PTI, he got on top of a car on 9th May, and to a charged mob, he said that this
Mm.
is, the army suit, this is the
Army
army
suit, yeah.
uniform, which I have grabbed from the co-commander's house, and he was waving it, and he said that its size is 50, thereby implying
Mm.
that your army is taking away your taxpayers money and gaining weight at your expense. So that was the
Mm.
underlying meaning of what he was trying to say, and also distributing bullets. It's all on camera. If now PTI is saying that PTI people had nothing to do with it, why is it that people who've been caught on camera, not only in being involved in those attacks on state institutions, but actually inciting others to do the same as well? How come
Yeah.
that you're featuring them on your posters and showing full support for those people? What kind of gaslighting and double play is this?
Yeah. Muneeb, I agree with you that, like it is somewhat nonsense that saying that, oh, geez, PTI was not involved. And, like it is, but here is a point on the military code, which maybe my viewer also want to understand, and I want to understand too from you. See, by law, that's my understanding. I could be wrong, so please correct me if I'm wrong. What my understanding, 1951, it is added that civilians can be tried in the military code, and 1967 probably that thing is amended in some way, and
Yeah,
then probably in 73 constitution is there. But there is one thing is added there, that the convict, the person who is convicted, can go to the civilian high court and then file an appeal. So
absolutely.
when this, first of all, is it true? My understanding is correct. If it is correct, then
Yeah.
what is the problem? And maybe military court just want to show they have more leeway asking question to the people. And I'm not a supporter of military court. I'm just putting a question to a lawyer.
Yeah. No, even I'm not. If somebody notices very closely, I'm not for or against. I mean, I am not attaching any value judgments to what I'm
Mm.
saying here. But what I'm saying is that how the law can be maneuvered to suit particular narratives, and the law is all about interpretation. That is the bread and butter of every single
Mm.
lawyer. So law is never a dead letter, and there is no finality to it either. It
Mm.
depends on interpretation in the given context. Now, you're absolutely right. There is an appeal route. You can go to the High Court if you're not satisfied with the military court verdict. And that is exactly what proponents of military court trials cite in their support for military court trials, that, hey, you've got appeal routes available. You can go to the civilian courts eventually. If,
Mm.
appeal routes were not open to you, only then could you have said that this goes against or flies in the face of rules of
Yeah.
natural justice and due process in fair trial. You are getting a fair trial. So that is one aspect. Another aspect is that we also have to look at the context. 9th May 2023, the Chief Justice of the whole country, of the apex court, of the Supreme Court, was Mr. Umar Ata Bandial, known quite well to be aligned ideologically with PTI. I mean, also adding into it or factoring into it the fact that his mother-in-law's famous, infamous
Yeah.
audio call leak had also happened. That
Yeah.
then better, why don't they impose martial law here if we cannot have Imran Khan for prime minister? So there was a lot of doubt as well as to the credibility of that Umar Atta bin Dayal-led Supreme Court. There was also a lot of in-house fighting and tug of war going on between Supreme Court judges. There were many of his colleagues within the Supreme Court who were saying that the Chief Justice of that time was running a one-man show. And so, given all of those factors, it just appeared that the likelihood of conviction, despite extremely compelling evidence against PTI supporters and PTI members, was very thin and very slim. So people thought,
Mm,
and people believed, actually more than thought, that those PTI agitators would get away with their crimes. And crimes they
mm.
definitely were. And like I
Yeah.
said, this is gaslighting to say that PTI people were not involved. I mean,
Yeah.
starting from the very top leadership, Mr. Imran Khan had constantly been saying in his very charged addresses to the nations, which would start with the words of "Mere Pakistaniyo." He would say that "Mar jao." Now, "Mar jao" in English
Mm.
means "go die." So
Go
a
die.
life of slavery has been imposed on you, so go die. That is
Mm,
very, I mean, you can draw parallels with the inflammatory rhetoric which was used by Donald Trump, which then led to the
mm.
6th January Capitol riot attacks in
Yes.
Washington, D.C. So there are a lot of parallels here. This is called dog whistling, that you've given your, green signal to your followers that just go ahead and do the deed. And if you are, holding yourselves back, you deserve to die. And that was very
Mm,
much Imran Khan's rhetoric. So
mm,
there is cause and effect between what PTI as a party, the kind of policies that they had been adopting, and then what eventually happened on 9th May.
mm,
And now the thing is that given the mindset which was very public of the Chief Justice Umar Atta bin Dayal, it was quite certain that the agitators and participants of 9th May riots would be let go of very easily. And that
mm,
is, what I find most unfortunate, that somehow made those who propose or who are the proponents of military court trials, that led them to find an excuse that, hey, we can have military court trials because we stand zero chance for justice in
mm,
civilian courts. And
mm,
so that is why I say that civilian courts should be very, very, very wary of the fact that they must never appear to be partisan. They must never appear to be politicized or politically compromised. And unfortunately, under Iftikhar Chaudhry, under Jawad Khaja, under Saqib Nisar, under Umar Atta bin Dayal, one after the other, we've seen these chief justices showing a political tilt every now and then against one political party and in favor of another political party. And
mm,
if this doesn't come to an end, if this trend doesn't end, unfortunately, we will be seeing more and more justifications springing up for military court trials.
mm, mm. So that brings me to my last question to you, Muneeb. And now we have just a minute left for the show. How you see the future of this new formed government? And because see, even Mushahid Hussain Sayyid and these guys were saying, well, whether Trump comes there and government is gone by November and all that. How you see all that in 1 minute, please?
Trump doesn't care. Trump only cares about himself. And I'm telling you, you can go see on my social media. I had a chat with Trump's, ex-attorney Michael Cohen, and he told me that Trump is an Islamophobic person. He's a xenophobic person, among other things. So I don't think that Imran Khan's narrative of Riasat Medina is going to be much to Trump's liking. And we are forgetting the fact that on 1st January 2019, there was a war of words which took place between Imran Khan and Donald Trump. People are
Yes.
forgetting that. So I'm sorry, with Imran Khan's anti-American rhetoric and the hypocrisy that he now seeks American assistance, I mean, keeping that aside, is not
Mhm.
going to go down very well with Trump and his mega Make America Great Again movement. So this is only wishful thinking on PTI supporters' part, nothing else.
Well, viewers, you heard Mr. Muneeb Qadir. Mr. Muneeb Qadir, as I say, he's a law expert, and besides that, his lot of work he did, and great work he did in the human rights area, in a women right area, transgender right area. And now please read his book, and which is coming out very soon. And we will all read. We will have a show on that. And once
Great.
again, Muneeb, thank you very much. And
Thank
I
you very much.
hope you would be appearing with me on with Nyador Urdu and Nyador English, which we
Fingers
call
crossed.
New Wave
Absolutely.
Global. So with that note, thank you and good day.